going on, everybody? It's your girl Bird from Bird in the Tree podcast.
What it is, what it do. It's your boy Tree from Bird in the Tree podcast.
And today we're starting season 2. What a year 2020 was for us. But Tree, how was your holidays before we jump into 2021?
It was good. Thanks for asking. You know, it's my favorite time of the year, Christmas, which,
Still got the tree up.
still got the, I had to take it down. My fiance made me take the tree down a little, this year. More early than what I anticipated. But no, it was good. It was good. Got to spend time with family, immediate family and stuff like that. Went back home. Got some good gifts. Although I did get some socks. But now my mom, she did good. She followed up with some good stuff. So it wasn't just your normal socks. She had the little crazy socks for me and a ton of other stuff. Then of course we had a little gag gifts and stuff like that. So it was just good time. I just enjoy being with family. That's my biggest thing. So being able to do that, that trumps everything else. But it was good times. What about yours?
It was good. I spent the holiday for the most part with my sister. My mom and my two younger sisters came up to Charlotte or Gastonia.
Okay.
So we got together as a family, and it was great. Nobody was sick. We all had COVID tests.
Hey.
And so we enjoyed ourselves, and it was good.
All right, that's good. Especially when it comes to that, everybody being nice and healthy. We did the same thing. We took COVID tests before we went and all that good stuff too, just to prevent any spreads or anything like that at all. Mask up, hand sanitizer on deck. You know how that goes. So we did what we had to do.
My sister had it for to make sure everybody had their own individual hand sanitizer because she is a nurse. So
very smart. Nah, that's good. That's good. Hey, hold on. Do I see some Chucks in the background?
Listen, let me tell you, today is the Prime Minister Day. Okay. 2021, let's go. I have my Chucks and my pearls. I ride for my sorority girl. Okay. Honestly, no matter what, party affiliation you have, as a female, let's take race out of it completely.
Right.
As a female, to have a female, vice president.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like now, when you look at your kids and you tell them, hey, you can be anything you want to be. Sky's really the limit. We tell our kids that all the time, but when you don't have someone that represents you in that position, it's really hard to see that. And so today, breaking all barriers. So yeah, she might be part of that other sorority.
We're gonna get into that, huh?
We're gonna get into that. But hey, we ride for her. I think it was just so many emotions, such a monumentous occasion. The whole ceremony actually was pretty dope. I was not disappointed. It was good for me. Today, man.
It was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Hey, look, I was glued to CNN all day. Honestly, it was just a good time. Just seeing, it's like a breath of fresh air. That's how I look at it. At the end of the day, whoever you voted for, it is what it is. But I just feel like, it's a time to heal. But hey, now do you see how them ladies was out there dressing?
Listen, let me tell you about Michelle Obama.
Ooh.
When I grow up, and I get some coins, when I grow up and get them Obama coins. Let me tell you how, she came to slay.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
I said, okay, listen, these women they were out here letting you know we about business.
Yes.
And we're gonna show you what business looks like. And I said, okay, you got my attention.
Very classy, very elegant. I love, and that's all three women. I loved it. Vice President
It was
Michelle,
good.
First Lady. It just looked.
Dr. Biden, listen, we're gonna start calling her Dr. Jill Biden in 2021, okay? Because she worked for that doctor in front of her name.
She did.
And people
Definitely
like to
doctor.
people with PhDs because they're like, oh, you're not a real doctor. Oh, okay, well, pretty sure I got a PhD, and I'm pretty sure I'm a doctor. But
So you Dr. Bird.
I'm Dr. Bird. That's right.
Okay, so y'all heard it first. She's Dr. Bird, so it's no longer
Respect
Bird
on
in
her.
the Tree podcast. It's Dr. Bird
Dr. Bird.
in the Tree
So in
podcast.
2021, she can't be just the first lady. She's not just FLOTUS, okay? She's Dr. FLOTUS. I ain't trying to take nothing from that woman.
It makes sense. Hey, so look, today, of course, is a special day, like we talked about, but it's also a special day because this is the first podcast of season 2. So what better way, to go ahead and have one of the guest speakers? Y'all already heard him before. Our brother, Dr. William. I want to say Dr. William Wiggins, even though he ain't no doctor, but I just love the word doctor. Just put doctor in front of everything.
No, we're not. We're not gonna do that.
Oh, we can't do that. Oh, okay.
That was 5 real hard years.
So you got to work for that. Okay, my bad. But hey, look, Reverend William Wiggins Jr. Reverend William Wiggins Jr. But yeah, hey, look, let's go ahead and bring him in and let's go ahead and get this party started. You know what I'm saying?
This should be interesting. Oh Lord.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There he go with the UNC. Hey, go ahead and unmute that thing for me, brother. UNC, I see you. Even though we ain't doing nothing this year, but that's okay. I still see you over there. What's up, bro?
Yo, you ready, bro?
Hey, you know I'm ready.
Never. Never
Bird.
ready.
Bird. Yo, Bird, is you ready?
I'm never ready.
Yo, we happy to see you up again, praise be.
Got my chucks and pearls on today, buddy.
Hey, she ready, bro.
All day.
She ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hey, Bird, tell the people what we're talking about today.
So today, listen, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I grew up Southern Baptist, and you went to church, I don't know, 7 days a week or whatever. But as I got older, I'm like, okay, I heard a preacher saying, hey, you know what? It's a lot of people that's gonna go to hell behind religion because they serving the wrong God.
Okay.
Well, that got me thinking, like, okay, so what is he talking about? And he was like, spirituality. It's about your relationship with the Lord. That's what you need to work on, not what somebody telling you need to go left, right, side to side, and jump up and down, and then you can come to church. He was like, no, you need to work on your relationship with God. Then you fellowship with the people, right? The people is the body. So I always want to know, like, hey, all right, well, what's the difference between religion versus spirituality? So none other better than Reverend Williams to give us the no kidding, like, street version, not theologically, because I think some of us get lost in the words, not because we don't want to read them. It's just, it's not familiar to most of us. So I thought no one better to get 2021 moving, right? Give us something fresh and hopeful to look forward. Yes,
hey, my man drinking Clorox.
I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray. That's what the former president said would cure COVID. So you should be good to go.
Yo, I just thought it'd be necessary to take some of the advice of some of those that are greater men than you and I. As my president in past days can drink bleach and come out on top before we even start. Salute.
I hope you rinse that bottle out real good, sir.
Hey, man. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, if you pass out middle of this here podcast,
somebody call
me. Yo, but check this out. But if I make it, yo, we might be on to something.
Makes sense.
But if you got some bleach.
Hey, he already over there shaking. Hey, bro. Hey, you know, before we jump into things, man, how was your holidays, man?
It was great, man. It was great, man. We try to really pay homage to those that lay the foundation for us. It's always a big day for me when we celebrate King Day. Always.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Always.
Hey, let me tell y'all a quick story real quick. Christmas Day, you know, I'm back home with the family. And of course, you know, Junior family, he come through with my little goddaughter.
Amen. Amen.
And you know, we sitting around there having a good time. And I meet them outside. And Junior was like, hey man, here's your present from the girls. And I was like, okay. So he pulls out this big, I'm talking about, yo, the box is huge. It's this big old Amazon box. I mean,
Word.
I could sit inside of it. That's how big it was. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, this okay. They don't went all out. So I pick up the box. I'm thinking, you know, this box gonna be heavy. So let me prepare myself. And it's light. So I'm like, all right, okay. Okay. So, you know, I bring the box in the house. He was like, hey man, don't open it up till we all get in the house. We sit down and everything. So I was like, all right, not a big deal. So we all in the house playing, whatever, talking, conversating. And he was like, hey man, open up the box. So I go, now mind you, he got this green heavy duty shipyard tape on the box, and it's all boxed up and taped up. So I'm like, man, it must be something crazy up in here, because this dude got this thing like Fort Knox. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So, okay, I cut it open, get everything out. I look, it's a card in there.
Word.
I'm like,
And that
okay.
big
I'm like, okay, my man just put a little small card in an envelope inside this big box. He could have handed me the card. I opened up the card. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
you're probably right, Miss
hey,
Vicky.
hey, hey, nah, Vicky. He got me right. He got me right. He just handed me a card. Put it this way: he been listening to that last podcast that we had about what we should and should not get each other for Christmas. So he got me right. But no, it was just funny because it was a little small gift inside his huge box. And then, of course, once he opened up the box, then the girls got inside, took pictures inside the box and everything. You know how kids do. Yeah. When, you know, they rather play with the box than anything else.
That was probably the best gift.
Yo, let me clarify it.
Yeah.
Let me clarify it.
What's up, man?
You know, Bird always sends a shout out to how she was brought up theologically. You know, shout out to Bird, Southern Baptist. Shout out to Bird. But one of the things I always want everybody to keep in mind, I took that concept from God.
Okay.
God took and wrapped the biggest gift in the biggest box he could and placed it in a small horse stable in a manger, literally in a cave. So sometimes you got to keep in mind, even though it ain't the case for me, you know, when they say good things come in small packages, you know, I kind of, I don't want to get into that because it is PG, but nevertheless, that's what we wanted to do for my mans. You know what I mean? We wanted to do big box with a little package that, you know, exemplified our love. Shout out to the box, man. Amazon
box. I don't know what happened to the box because we sure left it there at the house.
Shout out to the box, yo.
Yo, seriously, that box was huge. Like for real, that was a huge box.
No doubt. No doubt. Yo, we got a huge heart over here.
Opportunity. He was giving you space and opportunity.
Yo, we got a big heart.
Hey, it makes sense, man. That's all love. Again, I still appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna be able to deal with this bleach.
Yo, check this out, yo.
What's up?
Look, because I'm on Bird in the Tree, we went big, yo. This is the one that's 50% more. You feel me?
Hey.
50% more.
Lord,
let's go, Bird.
Boy, Lord, I hope this boy don't pass out.
Bird.
Hey, Bird. Hey, go ahead and take it away before this dude pass out here on this podcast, drinking his Clorox.
All right, then, Reverend Junior. Sir.
I got you.
All right, so is there a difference between religion and spirituality, or are they one and the same?
I think a lot of that, and believe it or not, a lot of our mental concepts, not to get too deep, but just to let y'all know I do got a little bit of sense. It's almost like a Platonic philosophy. You know, he liked to study humanity by separating mind, body, and soul.
Mhm.
But Paul, particularly in the scriptures, he comes back and he recasts that thinking and lets us know that there is no separation. All right, now to say all that, I say this. You will always hear the great, probably over the last 10, 15 years, that's the subject. Religion, quote unquote, versus spirituality. But I always tell people it's just like your hand. It's almost like trying to say the hand is a entity in itself without the fingers, when we understand the fingers help make up the same component. And it's hard to be spiritual and not be religious, but that it is easy to be religious and
Without.
not be spiritual.
Mm.
So I always tell people, one actually will edify the other. One actually edifies the other. What do you mean? Okay, well, you can have a great relationship with God, but then don't attend church on a regular. Church is the system, the religion, the practice, the prayer, the worship, and all of that. And that's why God tells them to forsake not the assembly, key word, the assembly. So God even establishes for Israel and the believer a religious system. But one of the things that hurt us is so many times we operate under the system without the relationship. And this is why you will always see them studied as separate entities, but I like to study them together.
Well, and that especially the analogy with the hand and the fingers, I definitely get that. And I think, unfortunately, what happens a lot of times is, and I think that's why some people get, deterred from going to church, because,
Mhm.
they go to church and they feel like, every 5 seconds the preacher's talking about money, or there's always something, some mess, or if you're visiting, like you might be used to one thing in your church and you visit the church and then another church does something and you're like, whoa, I don't, and I think sometimes they get away from the message, right? And they start putting in man-made things, like things that were never supposedly part of that system. And so it's kind of hard to, and I think a lot of people have kind of lost that, of the wanting to go to the building to assemble, because they feel like, hey, I can pray in my house, the Lord, and not be worried about all the other stuff. And so I think we kind of get lost in that. So like how can we, keep our eyes on the prize, so to speak, but be able to recognize when we're in a place we shouldn't be, because that's one of the things my great grandmother used to always tell me is, when you're visiting churches, it's like you need to be really careful about just visiting anybody's church, because there are demons in those churches, and those demons have, okay, even most holy and sanctified of us can get some demons. And so, just having that. Now, of course, she ain't tell me not to go to church, because that wasn't an option, but she was just saying you got to be careful where you go, because your mind is a slippery slope sometimes, and you can kind of buy into those things that we know as like cults, right? There's a lot of people in cults, but they don't know they're in that. So how if you are a person, you going to church for the first time, or maybe you were gone for a long time and you coming back, how do you make sure that you're in a place where you should be, and not kind of get caught into kind of some of that man-made stuff?
No doubt. And a couple of things I want to just point out, and it's just for biblical content as well. What do you think Jesus talked about more in his days by way of scripture? The law, money, or sexual immorality? If you
Well,
just had to guess.
I don't think it was the law, because I remember him specifically separating church and state. And then I also remember him saying, when they were trying to talk about taxes, he was saying, who's facing on the money, what's procedure is procedure, what's for me is for me. But I think he had to keep talking about it, because people kept bringing it up to say that people were breaking the law by not, them paying their tithes or whatever. So he was basically trying to get Jesus to condemn the people for quote unquote breaking the law, but he was trying to keep things separate. I could be wrong. That's how I remember.
No. And I ask people that for a reason, because, and that's good stuff. No, seriously, that's great. Because one of the things people fail to realize is Jesus, out of 33 years, spent more theological time talking about money than anything in the church. All right. Now, why do we say that? Just to show you one or two things. I got demons that work with me every day, but guess what? I still go to work.
Right.
I got liars that's at Walmart every day. Guess what? Still shop there. I got some racist, narcissistic bastards that work right there in places that I go to eat, in places I shop, trade, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never went into and not to call this place out, Lord have mercy, because we're on Facebook. Shout out to the place on Facebook. Just a disclaimer, but there's a certain restaurant. LaKitty knows about it back at home, and it had some of the best food in the world. I will say where it's at. It's near a certain truck stop, but I'm gonna let it be.
Yes, sir.
And don't you know that was one of the most racist places in the entire area? But watch this, because of the food being so great, people went there. People still go there. And I have never went in there and traded, bought food, and ever gave a crap about the fact that this guy got a swastika in his backyard. Yo, man, I need something to eat. So I said all that to say, people allow church to be the only place where we will legitimize why we won't do something. I'm gonna tell you what that means. Yo, man, you know what, dog? There people doing this and that, dog. Man, it's like that everywhere in the place we go. Now, I'm not trying to say that that legitimizes the reasoning. Nah, it's wrong to be that. But church is the only place where people that don't even go to church become super saints and will say, well, yo, I don't do it because of this, dog. You know what I mean? Well, truth be told, you don't do it because you don't want to do it. You know, watch this. I'm going to show you this. There could be people that don't come on your podcast. You know why? Because you just didn't want to. Yo, shout out to the suckers that don't come up here and challenge themselves. There might be individuals that say, yo, bird, tree, I support you, but really don't support you. You know what I'm saying? What does all that have to do with anything?
Right.
The money that goes on in the economy right now is the main focus on any presidential election. I've never heard nobody go to the polls and say, yo, man, Biden and Kamala talk about money, dog. I ain't voting for them. No, guess what? That's their slogan when they come. And Jesus understood that. Jesus understood that even though we should be past having to discuss money sometimes, I do understand that there are people that abuse it. Don't get it twisted. Yo, I don't buy any of this fake water Peter Popoff got on sale. Yo, I don't put the fortunes, you know, and tell you, hey, yo, bird, yo, look, I'm going to send you this cloth, dog, and tell you your fortune. Nah, man, we totally against that. But I'm also totally against the hypocrite that will say they don't do this, that, the third, when truth be told, that's a religious, secular practice. Saying what you don't do religiously, when truth be told, if you had a real relationship, you don't give a crap about what nobody else was doing because the content of your giving is right. So there are times in the church that I got to, guess what? I might have to give to a family, and guess what? There are going to be people that say, yo, Real, they ain't paid no tithe and offering.
Right.
So what you want to do then, bird? You the pastor, bird. They ain't gave tithe and offering. But watch this. Jesus comes back and has to highlight money and say this to the individual that says that. He says, I was hungry, you fed me not. I was sick, you didn't visit me. They said, Jesus, when were you hungry and sick? He said, when you did it to the least of these. So the funny part about it, we all become hypocrites when we try to separate spirituality and religion because we are practicing a practice saying it's wrong to practice a practice. There's really an error in our practicality. Yo, hold on. The bleach is calling you, boy.
This dude.
Shout out to the theology, yo.
Yeah, so so look, like, you know,
yes, ma'am.
Say it is true. First of all, people are going to make excuses to do anything that they don't want. It doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
They're going to make excuses to do things when they don't want to do it. So in the times that we, you know, are in right now, where we really are in a place where people need to heal, right? It's just so much, you know, going on, and you know, how do we you know, reach to people to kind of pull them back in, or, you know, to try to like get past all of this hate, because you're right. Like, I see different things every day, like you know, whatever, don't support this, they're trying to take away our voice. And I'm like, listen, nobody's trying to take away your voice if you're not out there being a fool. But if you out there being a fool, then yeah, I am gonna say, I'm gonna censor you. But if you're not being a fool, and so I try not to get wrapped up in all the stuff that's going on. But when people are giving non-facts, like, that's one thing more than anything. You can tell your truth, and that's fine, but don't make your truth my truth. Okay, don't make because it's not. If it's not fact-based, I'm gonna call you out. That's not true. So like, how do we just as a country, like, how do we heal now? Because people don't show themselves, right? We see you. We've been seeing you, but we see you now. So how do we mend ourselves? But before you answer that, we're gonna pause for a short break, okay?
Holla.
All right, so before we left on break, I was asking you how do we heal people? How do we get them back to being one and not being so nasty and rude, and just getting back to being just good, faithful people.
Yo, can we cuss up here? Never mind. Don't even worry. Hey, look. So no, you good. You good. Don't good. Yo, shout out, bro. I just was a podcast. My bad, bro. No, but you know what? I actually have a different philosophical approach to that. Not to get too, intertwined with stuff that don't matter. And anybody on the podcast or live that want to know, can we cuss? I'm just asking. Don't be mad at me. I'm just asking. But no, what I was gonna say is, I was sharing with some friends. That don't really bother me that people have been unveiled. One of the things we look forward to at a wedding, when she comes down, she's covered. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that has troubled to me, our nation, our very own small town that we're from, is so many people have been covered. No disrespect. Look at the Ku Klux Klan. What did they do? They covered themselves. Then the funny part about it, then they would take off the white and put on them police uniforms, right? Now here's the danger. They've taken off the white, but they have on the uniforms. And this is not all cops, but it's some. So when you see the unveiling of these things, when you see these events coming to pass, sometimes God has a way of just revealing things to you. Right. And one of the things that I tell people is this: if you study biblical literature, if you study the Old Testament and New, there are people that God told, specifically certain nations, listen, don't make friends with them. You know what I mean? So I'm all with the kumbaya, but let's understand something. You can't make friends with domestic terrorists. Let's understand something. I'm not out here trying to walk and hold hands with anybody that would desecrate our capital like that in the name of making America great again. But my whole point is, I think we can heal people, but the first thing you got to do with healing is unveil who you really are. And one thing we have seen in these 4 years, even leading up to today, even if a person's mind ain't all the way there, you get to see where their heart is at. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I saw, that you saw, that everybody else saw, that has plagued us with what happened 2 weeks ago, we really see how people are deeply rooted. First of all, ignorant, literally ignorant, and deeply rooted in things. And they look, that ain't your friend. And you got to realize that from the set. So one thing I would tell people, every Christian out there, stop being worried about everybody like you. Right. Stop trying to make friends with people that ain't your friend. Look, Senator Cruz, you ain't my friend, bro. I don't shout you out.
Did you call him out?
You're not my friend. Giuliani. And look, here's the craziest thing about that. You could have easily been Giuliani. I could have been that. What does that mean? This individual served 45, did everything he could, right, wrong, whatever. Then at the end of the day, when 45 was done using him, what did he do?
He was done. Cold shoulder.
He told him, don't pay him. Look, don't pay him. Forget him. So again, is this the person that Jesus says you should pledge your allegiance to? Certainly not. Listen, Christianity has nothing to do with separating yourself from the world you live in. I'm talking about on a mental level. We don't be conformed to it, but don't be naive to it. And I think the thing that hurts people the most, every Christian wants everybody to like them. You got to get to a point where you stop worrying about stuff that don't matter and just move past. A lot of these people aren't your friend. They're not going to be your friend. Mm-hmm. And it's time for us to stop supporting our oppressor. That's why I don't understand when I see certain people support things when we end up knowing the very root of it. And if it's, baptized in evil, man, ain't they friends? I don't tell my children to make friends with certain people. I don't think you do either. I don't think Kenny does either. Yeah. Look, that great picture you got up, Tree, it looked good. Everybody didn't march with us down there in Gates County.
Facts.
Am I really concerned about, people that's going to always be against you? Man, we pray for them, but far as you making friends with them, if you read, I'll tell you this, read Deuteronomy. And there was a certain group that did the children of Israel wrong when they came out of Egypt. And I'm not prescribing. I'm just telling what God told him.
Mhm.
God said, never forget what their people did to you. Listen, I don't care. No disrespect. People got their own opinion. Yo, Mike Pence, you can't just jump off the bandwagon now when the ship done sunk and think that we're going to say, oh, yeah, man, I got a lot of respect and dignity. No, man. I would have respect and dignity had you done it in the beginning.
Right.
But since you didn't do it in the beginning, yo, that ain't my friend. But the problem we got is we'll let people whitewash that stuff. We'll let them do this and that. And then, oh, well, you know what, yo, man, look. He did denounce him in the end. Nah, man, the ship had sunk. He just got off the ship.
Right.
That's also, nah, they ain't my friend, Bird. Yo, we don't rep the hood like that, Bird. Yo, we got real problems, Bird.
So what did you
to the bleach?
I know a lot of people are, a lot of people say that, as Black people, because a lot of Black people are rooted in, Christianity for the most part, that we're such a forgiving people. And in being a forgiving people, we are allowing people to walk all over us or, say, well, God said, turn the cheek. And so how do we differentiate, right? How do we differentiate, when we need to, walk away from whatever, or when we just need to be burdened because that's the Christian thing to do?
Well, I think again, you gotta dissect that thing that even the podcast says, spirituality versus religion. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, to appease, your peers, you'll fall in that trap. And even I've done it. You probably done it. Tree probably done it. But yeah, you're right, man. We take that chameleon approach. Mm-hmm. That ain't what God wants. God desires relationship. And truth be told, again, I say, I'm all with trying to bring people together. But guess what? The gathering don't mean nothing if it ain't spiritual. It's just religious. You know what I'm saying? So again, look, watch this. We did that great march. Everything was great in the hometown. Yo, man, it became a picture on the wall. And truth be told, for a lot of people, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. Because it was just a religious movement. They didn't attach that to the relationship, right? Well, how do you know it? Because that area is still red anytime we vote, no matter right or wrong. The area is red. All the surrounding areas turn blue, not because of Democratic movement, but because it was white. So again, when we start healing, I think the first thing that you got to do, Jesus would always tell you to know those that labor amongst you. And that ain't Jesus saying, yo, be this person's friend. That's Jesus saying, if you go back to the days of Nehemiah, they actually worked building the wall. And shout out to the fact that he never built the wall, but moving on. Shout out to the fact that he then went on and pardoned the very guy that was manipulating people, that took millions of dollars from people to build a wall that never got built. Shout out to Mexico that never built the wall. Anyway, moving on. But in the days of Nehemiah, when the people were working, they had a mind to work. But guess what? In one hand, they had a tool that they used in masonry to lay the bricks. In the other hand, they had a weapon. Yo, I wonder why. Because everybody want their friend. Everybody ain't going to be a part of the movement. And believe it or not, in 2020, Bird, Tree, we may very well be working with tool in hand, weapon in the other. That's just what it is. Shout out to it, bro.
It makes sense. Hey, man. Hey, hold on. Hey, y'all see Lil Wayne and Kodak Black get pardoned too? Hey, but look, hold on. Hey, hold on.
But guess who did not get pardoned? Yo.
Hey, man. My Tiger King, Joe Exotic.
Tiger King. What?
They had my man. He had a limo. He already had my man set. But you want to pardon. I mean,
and see, this goes right back to what I say about making friends. And again, if we're gonna be, critical, we got to be critical across the board, even when it's in our own community, right? When Lil Wayne was, sold, say it like it is,
right?
And he bought into this philosophy with prayers, and he allowed people to really try to front. I don't know if y'all remember, but I saw the interview. Lil Wayne said racism didn't exist.
Correct, because the police officer.
Yeah, but he said it didn't exist. But that ain't what he was saying when he first came in the game. Now, here's my whole point. If we're going to be critical of people like Cruz and all these others, yo, for real, shout out to the fact that he sold himself to be pardoned. But guess what? When you're pardoned, you do realize you have to first admit you're guilty.
Correct. He did that.
That's why you get pardoned. And the truth be told, he's guilty for more things than they say on pen and paper. And
Right.
I'm no longer gonna support Lil Weezy, Lil Breeze, or whatever. The dude must have been sipping syrup when he sold himself. But it's hard for me to get in contact with an idiot like that claims he's an alien. He really showed who he really was. And anybody in the Black community, you know what we do? We are quick to say, well, if you listen to Lil Wayne, you're wrong. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, if you're gonna have a voice and use it, if you would denounce people like Pence, Giuliani, and everybody else that thought it was right to go do this, yo, you gotta denounce that fool. He can skateboard, put on Vans, do whatever he wants. You still a Negro. You still a Negro.
Negro with a
Let
K.
it go, bro.
K-N-E-E-G-R-O-W.
You understand, man? I ain't got no love for him no more. So look, am I wrong for calling right, wrong? No. God says what? Woe unto them that substitute bitterness for sweet, that call right wrong and wrong right. Yo, look, this guy got pardoned. And you're saying to yourself, yo, how in the heck did Lil Weezy get pardoned? But you got to go back and look at the trail. Yeah. And then you got to always keep in mind with this impeachment going on now, one of the things that he has planned on doing is maybe rerunning again or something else. So guess what? It's chess. He's placed a pawn in the community to say, look, yo, I help your community. Yep. And this guy keeps saying he's helped the Black community more than anybody else. That's why I be asking, can we cuss up here? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You help the Black community do what? No, there are certain people that were wrong. Yo, disclaimer, Facebook, but let's keep it real. Shout out to Ice Cube. I don't want to hear you no more either.
Yeah. I think Miss Vicky got it right. Trump like people to say yes, and Wayne was that. And not only that, here's the irony, you know, behind all of it is that he knows that he has the money, right? So if in fact he does run again, he knows that Lil Wayne can support his funds. Tiger King, that's a little iffy. So I got to make sure that I got somebody on my team that when we talk about these $1 million ads, that I got somebody that can pay into that campaign. If you can't pay into that campaign, then you are no help for me. So I do agree with the chess game. I think that, but he shouldn't have let Joe Exotic sit like that. I think Carol Baskins paid
she on some other stuff
keep Joe in that jail because she know he was coming for her for real this time.
Yeah, that's no doubt.
Yeah, for fake. Knowing I ain't trying to kill you but the first time, but when I get out.
But again, if we gonna keep it a buck, then even in our, like I said again, it starts in our communities, man. Yo, look, if we're gonna keep it a buck, and I'm not saying this to down the brother, and whoever don't like it, man, look, you can message me, yo, I will feel free to respond to you. Yo, we open door, man, we're open book. But I'm just saying in general, yo, I can't support that no more.
Right.
Because if I'm gonna have a consistent voice, yo, we got to make him pick and choose what mountain he gonna down. Yo, don't come back telling me how to sip no lean and kill myself when you gonna sell yourself. Because truth be told, like Jay-Z said, yo, let me get secular. To make a dude stop breathing is nothing. But to kill a dude while he's still breathing, yo, you saying something. So what do you say? Yo, you see Bird move her shoulders, dog? Yo, Bird, I used to think you was uptight, girl.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me tell you, Tree, you better get diamond right and not mistakenly throw up a pyramid because I almost my neck snap.
Oh.
That's right. That's right. My bad. I forgot who I got. I apologize, doctor.
I Dynasty, okay, okay, Dynasty, but when you bring them fingers up,
my bad.
That'll turn to something else.
Wakanda, bro.
Okay, yeah, he Wakanda forever, but
Wakanda, you know what I'm saying? But again, look, can I ask you a question?
But you're right, but because what Eric, you can ask me a question, but let me say this: the one thing that irritates me is where people make the mistake, they miscalculate Black people when they feel like one Black person speaks for all Black people. Like we're gonna say, oh, because that's a Black person, then we're gonna just forgive everything and we're gonna ride with you because you chose. I'm like, he's not my voice. I don't care what he says. I have my own voice, and I can tell you, he doesn't speak for most Black people. He probably like don't speak for nobody but himself. Honestly, there's some people that think like him, but that irritates me more than anything is when they choose a voice that they think that we all listen to, and that's who they put out and to say like this is the Black person's voice.
Oh, yeah. So again, I mean, do you think, how do you deal with that then? The person that, how do we get our people mentally inclined when somebody approaches them and tries to separate religion and being spiritual, which is just another word for relationship? How you approach that? Because whether you know or not, it's done to us every day,
Right.
every single day. So what would be your advice for the young Black woman that, you know, got ideas and dreams like yourself, but people are constantly putting her in that box?
So for me personally, when people tell me that I can't, that's motivation for me to be like, watch this. I'm gonna be like a Stacey Abrams bet.
Word.
Shout out to Stacey
You
Abrams.
might try to take it away from me, but I'm gonna take what you try to take from me to give to somebody else, and we're gonna do this thing together. So for me, it's a motive for me. I get motivated. Everything somebody tell me that I can't, if there's nothing that's preventing me from being able to do it, like something physically where, okay, I can't be a medical MD because I haven't gone to medical school. Okay, that's fine. Got it. Don't want to do that. But if you're telling me that I can't get my PhD, why can't I? Okay, I'm a mom. I work full time. Okay, check that box. Did that. You know, if you're telling me that I can't be a Black female officer, why? Says who? Okay, well, let me try that out. Okay, check, did that. So for me, unless there's something physically impelling me to not be able to do it, to me, that's motivation to move forward. And so, and what I will say though is it is calculation, right? There's a lot of chess that you have to play, especially in corporate America, but even in the military, there's a lot of chess that you have to play because you can't necessarily go in there, you know, rolling your head and telling people what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do, right? That's not gonna help you. You gotta understand your role, and I put that in quotation marks because you have to understand where you are. It is a pecking order, whether we like it or not. It is what it is. So because I do have faith, because I am religious, now I did have to break down and tell a boss one time, and I had to pray about it, but I did. I told him, I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. What God has for me is for me. Not you or no other man can take that away. And I walked out. I walked out. With all due respect, I walked out and I still got what I had. I still got every single award in that unit. I was still the number one person, not just female or Black. I got what I knew what I deserved. So it didn't matter to me what they were trying to block me from because I already knew the blessing was in my favor. And so the Lord is not going to close a door without having another door open. Maybe that door wasn't for me. I was knocking on a door that maybe was not supposed to be open. I was knocking on trying to get something that wasn't for me. And that's okay because what was for me, I received it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And see, and you know what, to kind of piggyback off of that, see, with me, like the thing that I guess, you know, sometimes, you know, we get taught lessons or we're going through how can you say it? Like we're going through, I don't know, like we're learning about ourselves. And right now, me and I guess I can say for the past 2 years, what God has been trying to teach me is patience. And that's something that I never really had. Now, when it comes to people, when it comes to, you know, obviously, you know, where I work at, I deal with people every day. When it comes to that type of patience and listening to their problems and dealing with what they need to deal with, I got patience all day. But when it comes to stuff that I really and truly want, I don't have patience. And I want it right then and there. And that's one of the things, even with advancing, even with, you know, when I was a kid, I got any and everything I wanted quickly, just like that.
No doubt.
And I think God was like, okay, so you got everything that you want, you know, you blessed and highly favored. But see, the thing is with you get that stuff and you know you're gonna get it. So you look for it to happen right then and there. When I was a kid, as I became an adult, it seemed like it didn't work like that. And I kind of like, you know, how can you say like I lost my patience, I lost my faith. So now it's more so of all right, Tree, look, I know you want to do A, B, and C, but you're gonna have to wait until I say it's that time. Now, a lot of times when it comes to that, you know, we're like, well, I want it right then and there. Well, let's say that God gives it to you right then and there, and then you up and look and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't like this. I this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yep.
So, you know, his timing is always the best timing. So I feel with, you know, when it comes to me, and he's still teaching me, it's not easy at all. It's a lot of stuff that I want. It's a lot of stuff that, especially when it comes to work, to job, to life, period. You know, I want it right then and there. And God is he's teaching me. I'm getting better. But it's still tough. And it's kind of like, I'm like, all right, look now, I've been waiting for a long time now. I'm you know, when is it my turn? When am I going to get what I want? You know, and that's one of the things where I feel like with a lot of people, we need to be taught patience. I mean,
don't pray for it though, because baby, that comes with a test.
Right.
I will never pray for patience again. Lord, just keep being patient. Because I got to go through them tests to get what it's called patience. I'm good.
Hey, look, and that's the thing. I've been going through these tests for the longest, and I mean, it's tests where I'm like, oh, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. I'm waiting. Oh, this is for me. This is for me.
I fail them tests every time. Hey, Lord, don't worry about giving me no more tests because I'm gonna fail.
Look, okay. I put it this way. I'm not gonna lose faith. I know, you know, when this test is said and done, I'm gonna come out on top, and I know it's gonna be more rewarding than what it would have been if I had got it right then and there, like I used to when I was a kid. But at the same time, you know, it's tough. I feel like a lot of people, if you don't have that mindset, and that even goes with religion and stuff like that, because I know me and Junior talked about it before. A lot of people are weak-minded individuals, and what happened is, you know, somebody will come right in and say, "Hey, man, hey, all that stuff you've been believing, all that stuff you was taught as a child, that ain't true." And you're like, you know what? They'll say a few little facts or something that they find somewhere, you know, on the internet. They'll Google it, and you'd be like, man, you know what? I ain't think about that. No, you might be right. And now their whole faith that they've been taught all their life is going out the window. So it's the same thing where, you know, if you're weak-minded, you'll be like, hey, man, all right, look, I done pray to God for A, B, and C for the longest time, and it still hasn't happened. So you know what? Maybe there isn't a God, and it's not like that. So I tell anybody, look, it's tough. Patience is tough, and I can't stand it. But at the same time, at the same time, you have to remain focused. You have to talk to people that are like you and want to see you grow. And that's something else that we don't do as well, especially as Black individuals. We do not like to talk to.
Don't tell your dreams to everybody.
Exactly. You don't have to tell everybody that what you want to do, what's next for you, what's your next move. And you definitely don't have to post it on Facebook. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Yes, because we need their prayers.
Right. But look, my thing is, people sit there and I mean, they post their every move on Facebook. You don't have to, because I feel like just once you get what you need, post it.
He said when two or more come together.
And that's and you're right. You're right. When two or more come together, that's correct. But you talk to them people on the back end. I call Junior. Me and Junior talk almost every night. And we'll just shoot it. We'll just talk about any and everything.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, I talk. You right about that, Bird. You right. But at the same time, I talk on the back end. I ain't got to talk out front. And then when whatever I need to happen happens, then you're gonna be like, oh shoot, okay, what he been doing in the background? You know, it's Bird in the Tree podcast. Oh shoot, what done happened there? So and so done picked them up. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, ain't no need to talk about it. We be about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, all 2021, ain't no need to talk about it. We gonna be about it.
Hey, what? Shout out TJ, because he did say I've been my whole life, and I have been like that my whole life. So
what you just say?
I've been. He said when I tell people I try to do what people tell me I can't do, even if it's the wrong thing sometimes. But I have been like that my entire life. It is just who I am. It really is.
But it goes back to why this podcast is so important, because the perseverance you talked about, the perseverance Kenny talked about, it was a system in place where you worked hard to get the way you at. Ain't nobody give it to you, right? So even when people will say no, you will say yes, you will knuckle down and work. Guess what? You religiously studied. Guess what? You religiously persevered. So the system is there. The biggest thing is, again, though, it's got to be connected to something. And a funny part about what you see today is people are really religious. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, that movement that was out there, that terrorist attack, for many of them, that was a religious movement. 2001, when they attacked, guess what? Religious movement. So I tell people, you know, when you look at that, you still got to have the relationship with it. And one thing that you will see is this: when you got relationship, you will practice things. You will practice your prayer. You will diligently do certain things over and over again. But just be careful, because again, Platonic philosophy is taught in school, in every endeavor that we have, whether you know it or not, where it separates it. And the danger is we're trying to do that with the church. Show me your faith without your works. Just as the body is dead without the spirit, guess what? So is your faith without works. You can have all the ambition you want in that and in everything you want to do, but if you ain't working for it, you ain't gonna get it.
Right.
You can have all this, that, the third in place, but guess what? Sometimes you got to open up a book. Sometimes you might have to study when you don't want to. So I tell anybody, you can open a person's life up, see their relationship with God. That's great. But at some point, as a pastor and as a church, we ought to religiously feed people that's hungry. Yeah, we ought to religiously try to do something for people that are in need. And watch this, unless I become the biggest hypocrite in the world, just to highlight money, the Bible does say it this way: where a man's heart is, so is his treasure. Yo, what does that mean? Whatever you love the most, that's where your money at. And the reason people have a problem sometimes with their giving in the church, because their heart ain't in it. That's just facts. But guess what? When we give, sometimes it goes so much beyond the church, people don't see it. This is why I'll get, and I hope somebody see this on Facebook, a lot of stupid messages. They ask me, yo, do I want to sow a seed or something? No. Matter of fact, hell no. I don't want to sow a seed or nothing, because you know what? We already have a system in place where we religiously help somebody. I don't want to just help somebody Tuesday. No, but we got a system in place religiously. Stop sending me these dumb messages. Shout out. Yo, tree, yo, bird, check this out. This bleach got me buzzing, bro. Yo, this tree got me buzzing. Yo, but my teeth getting whiter though. Shout out. Hey, if Trump said it worked, it worked. Can you hear me?
It would. Now, Eddie said that his cousin asked, does patience come with anxiety? And let me tell you, maybe patience, if you have patience, maybe not. But if you're trying to get patient and become patient, absolutely.
Well, I tell you this, it comes, but what about when you already know the end of the story, right? So and I'm gonna just keep doing it because it says Rev up here. If y'all would have just said Wiggins Jr., I'd have been secular all night. But I would say this, one of the things, yo, shout out to I had iPad, they told me to change it. You know how this stuff go. But look, shout out to Bird for what she do on the fly. But I will say this, the Christian don't know when they're gonna die, but they patiently wait. And the reason they can keep doing what they do, because they religiously can see it at the end, right? That ain't easy, bro. I won't celebrate that nonsense they did the other day, but guess what? I ain't go to work today. Yo, I wanted to see Kamala. Yo, I wanted to see, you know what I'm saying, my man doing this thing, bro, Biden. Does it have a point? Look, everybody thought that this 4 years was going to be 8. So you waited impatiently, including myself. We said, what, even if they got the cheat, put in martial law, man, God showed y'all just like he showed in the Old Testament. Yo, look, he still is King of Kings. He decides who rises or who falls.
Right.
Even if they try to overtake it and overthrow it, guess what? The voice of the people still stood.
It did.
So
the underrepresented people, they came out in numbers.
And guess what? Who helped take over the House of Senate? I believe it was a pastor in Georgia, but Warnock. And I don't see nobody complaining about, look, his political campaign. Guess what? It costs money to run that. It costs money to get back in the system. And guess what? You got to pay your tithes and offers, or we don't even equal up to the hypocrite. Listen, I used to do the same thing. I was driving around in a $70,000 car, won't paying tithe and offer. Yo, Junior, you're a hypocrite. That's just what it is. So guess what? I had a religious system in place with no relationship.
Okay.
It don't work like that, man. And you can talk like that when you don't walk that walk. We can encourage people, when you live by it yourself. What end up happening is we just religiously regurgitate and we don't have a relationship. This is why people are bothered when you tell them to pay tithes and offering. Right. But anybody that want to can see my printout of what we do at church.
Hey, but look,
shout out to the church.
Hey, look, hold on. Hey, what you just said though, you walked that walk before, right?
Yo,
you
man,
don't forget where you came from, right?
Yo, if you think I can, people will remind me.
Exactly. You already know where I'm going with it, then, brother.
Go ahead, let me hear it.
Don't forget where you come from.
Yo,
Christians, people
that just happened.
Forget where they come from. A lot of people know your story. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget where you come from, and then you see somebody else, and you want to treat them a little differently because now you are high and mighty.
Right.
But again, that goes back to religion, bro, because when we come in, we think that everybody gonna come in the way we came in.
And that's
not think everybody gonna change this, that, the third. Listen, the system will work. The system is love. The system ain't you cleaning him up, bro. How many people have we pushed out the church? Correct. And I tell you all the time, man, man or woman ain't gonna be satisfied till they bring the church down to their size. That's why the church don't grow and blossom. That's why we go through. But again, if we can ever implement, yo, look, if you think I'm fronting, yo, go on Facebook and ask people who was junior in school. And then the funny part about it, go up there and ask, and look, now keep this in mind. You better be careful, yo, because if you gonna snap, I'm gonna snap. Right. Yo, that's what it's gonna be. So look, when you do that though, one of the things is this: you live by the sword and you die by the sword. But instead of me doing that and telling people to do that, you know what I do? When I meet people, I remind people who I was for myself.
That's right.
So I don't got to worry about that. But now look, in the words of Martin, punks jump up to get beat down. They don't hurt yourself. Step in the wrong way, you know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it a buck up here.
Hey, wait, they won't catch them hands, huh?
Yo, look, we in martial arts every day for a reason, bro. Shout out to my podcast.
Headphones. I see you done took off them
headphones. Hold on. Let me turn them around. Shout out to the 90th anniversary of Mickey with the Beats. Yo, man, look, we ought to make Facebook pay to see this kind of stuff, yo. That's real. That's real, yo. Hey, look, since every church, and I'm not dissing nobody, and if you're going to be mad at what I say, I could care less. It looks tacky when we go on Facebook Live, hashtag, this my Cash App. I just can't see Paul preaching and then say Cash App. I can't see Peter preaching and say Cash App. I understand that if we work at the temple, we should live at the temple. But do me a favor, stop being religious and have a real spiritual relationship where God told you, listen, when you go preach the gospel, he said, accept nothing. Don't nobody want to talk about that part, though. He told them to go preach it. And look, I don't even want you to take that forward. But you're supposed to give, and it's going to do what? It's going to do what it's supposed to. If we don't get to the point where we stop trying to figure out as the pastor what we can get out of the ministry versus what we can put in the ministry, all we will ever be is a hypocritical person that is in a religious place and it'll never grow to being spiritual at all. And that's real. Yo, if you don't like it, yo, get off the podcast. You know,
makes sense to me. Bye. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, the bleach is here.
Bye, he said.
Hey, look, we got 4 minutes left in this podcast here. Hey, Bird, is there anything else you want to say to my brother here? Hey, first of all, it's always a pleasure having my boy on this podcast. Of course, he can be on more podcasts in the future. You know, we got a lot of stuff coming for 2021. But Bird, is there anything else that you got from my man?
Hey, no, listen, I always appreciate the word. Hey, we need to get on here. I know you do Bible study on Wednesdays typically. We need to get on here and have some Bible study. Teach them. I'm all about teaching. Give them the word. But what I like what you do, and that's the one thing that I like about a lot of the pastors from the churches I've gone to, is like, keep it on my level. And what I mean is, you know, I didn't go to theology school. I can read the book, right? I can read the book, I can read just fine, but I did not go to theology school. So there's plenty of examples today of what we're talking about that happened, you know, BC, right? In AD. So I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you keeping it on the people's level, remembering we didn't go to theology school, so not everybody walking around with PhDs. But
shout out.
Yes, shout out, doctor.
And my chancellor was a Klansman. Shout out to him.
Hey, that's what's up.
We still went there.
But no, we appreciate you. It's always a good time. I hope you continue coming back. We'll have different topics for you. They be secular, but it's okay. We're gonna still respect the word and keep it moving. But we appreciate you as always. We gotta get you some swag. We're gonna have to send him some bird in the tree swag from our storefront.
Of course.
So you can represent.
Of course. So
you don't got to send it to me. Just send me the link, bro.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send you the link. How about
the link?
My man, we'll definitely get that to you.
You send me the link, and we're gonna represent that, yo. I'm telling you, what you guys are doing is big. And again, always think about it. It was a great analogy I heard one time. They talked about how a river can start from a puddle. So never look at where you are now. Always look at what you could be. Always.
That's right.
Always.
All right.
Always.
In honor of Chucks and Pearls Day.
Healthy.
Like me.
Healthy. Hey, yo, when you laugh, you know your nose moves, bird. It's the funniest thing. Look, it's moving now. Oh, when she laugh, her nose be moving, dog. Shout out. Yo,
let's start with my nose. All right, Tree, take us out with
Hey, man, you already know what time it is. The first podcast of season 2, Spirituality versus Religion.
Healthy.
Y'all heard it with the homie here, Reverend Wiggins Jr.
I'm finna die.
Y'all mess with him if y'all want to. And as Vicky Wiggins just said in the chat, y'all will catch them holy hands. Y'all be easy.
They right, bro.
We'll holler at y'all.